But I say this is the steel industry of 100 years ago. It really is. I think you're just in your infancy. I can see it happening. In just 15 years, Bitcoin has gone from merely an idea posted anonymously on an internet message board to being the 9th most valuable asset anywhere in the world. Can you believe that? Is that right? That's a big deal.
So when I started buying Bitcoin over 7 years ago and then started learning about other projects in altcoins like XRP, Ethereum, Chainlink, the list goes on and on. At that time frame, there were parabolic gains made in the altcoin market. And then came the 2021 bull run where there was significant gains as well too. And then this bull run, we're seeing massive institutional adoption across multiple fronts.
Think of that. It's already bigger than ExxonMobil. Soon it will be surpassing the entire market cap of silver. How about gold? How about gold? Let's go gold. And one day it probably will overtake gold, but based on the way it's going now, it could very well be a possibility. There's never been anything like it.
So that's why I'm treating this bull run like the last chance to create generational wealth, because it truly is. When you see the data that I'm going to bring up in this video with what BlackRock is expecting for the effective federal funds rate coming in September of this year, what that means for the entire stock market, how it's going to affect the crypto market like Bitcoin and all altcoins, where we are on the weekly chart for Bitcoin compared to the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, and when the most likely case scenario is for a break to the upside. And then we also have to discuss, if a break to the upside happens for Bitcoin, what does that mean for XRP and what happened during the last bull run for XRP when Bitcoin made that breakout. We're also discussing Bitcoin's market cap dominance compared to the XRP, the US dollar price chart, my thoughts on where we go next for XRP in the near term, midterm, and long term, some breaking news for XRP on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, Kamala Harris's campaign confirming the unthinkable for Ripple, Coinbase, and Circle, some crazy price glitches happening for XRP that could be foreshadowing of what's to come in the future. And also by the end of this video, you'll discover how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes per day with the #1 XRP game. We have some big updates for you guys coming this week that you're going to absolutely love. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed, if you're feeling bullish, and if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree. Confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. Hey bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So before we dive into this video, I want you to note that all of the opinions expressed in this video are purely for informational, educational purposes only, and they do not constitute financial, legal, or investment advice. All investments in the crypto market carries massive risks and potential losses, so you should always do your own research, consult with a licensed financial advisor. We're not licensed financial advisors, and relying on our content for decisions is purely at your own risk. And by watching, you agree that we're not responsible for any losses or damages, and we don't guarantee any specific results or outcomes. And as you know, some of the links in the description below this video, they may be affiliate links and we may earn a commission, which also helps support value-based videos like this. So we appreciate you guys for supporting the channel. And we also hold positions in some of the cryptocurrencies discussed in our videos because we only talk about what we believe in. However, this should not be interpreted as a recommendation for you to do the same. So with that being said, let's get right into the video. If you guys watched my video yesterday, Cynthia Lumens talked about the new Bitcoin bill where Bitcoin would be the only option for the USA to pay off its $34 trillion national debt once Bitcoin reaches $13 million, or if Bitcoin were to reach that based on Michael Saylor's prediction, it would only require the USA to hodl 2.6 million Bitcoin to pay off 100% of it's actually $35 trillion now. So we must pursue a Bitcoin strategic reserve to save America. And in this video, what I'm going to discuss is what this means for the entire altcoin market, the stock market, everything in between. So the first thing that we need to look at is what just took place right now with the US government's wallet right here, because they sent a few hours ago before recording this video about $2 billion worth of Bitcoin from the US government website right here that holds about $12.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, and it says Silk Road seized funds. So if all of this Bitcoin, because I don't know how much of this Bitcoin they hold, there's about 183,000 worth $12 billion, and they just sent 29,000, so they had about 200,000 Bitcoin. If this is all Silk Road seized funds and they plan on dumping this all, then whoever's in charge of this account is like this person right here that can't even put a square block in a round peg. So if we look at the comments right here on Twitter, it's saying this is an unreal low IQ by the government, but not as stupid as the Germans. governments. As you guys know, if we go over here and we type in German government and we pull this up, they had nearly $4 billion worth of Bitcoin. They just absolutely dumped it all onto the market, which was suppressing the price. But now that they're done dumping, it looks like the United States government could be orchestrating some FUD to shake you guys out, is about to fumble the bag as well too. So when we look at what's happening with BlackRock and the Federal Reserve in a bit, BlackRock is expecting 3 rate cuts starting in September of 2024. Listen to this.
Most people are still calling for rate cuts. Do you expect September to be it?
Yeah, we're in the September camp for sure. And we think there's a great likelihood, actually, that we could get 3 cuts in 2024 and then 1 in the first part of 2025 and then kind of a pause that refreshes. We'll take a look at kind of the impact of the 100 basis points of cuts and see what that does for the economy.
So one of the main measures of how the federal funds rate will affect the economy is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. If we look at the stock market, which has obviously been around a lot longer than crypto, if you guys watched my video yesterday, I talked about the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, and I'm putting this on the Dow to show you guys from when Bitcoin started, all the way back here. Everything was red before then, so we're not going to look at this. I want to talk about what happened every single time we turned from orange to yellow after Bitcoin's halving with the Dow, and I've traced up the charts right here. And then also in purple, you can see on the screen right here, the federal funds rate currently right now at like 5.33%. And so the Fed has been holding the line since 2023, just holding rates steady. So if the first rate cut comes in September, we still have a long ways to go to the downside in terms of rate cuts. So they're going to be monitoring. Jerome Powell's obviously going to come out. He's going to say that they're going to be monitoring the effect in the economy. And so what we can look at is the last times that the Federal Reserve did this, when they start cutting rates, what happened in the markets. You can see when the Fed stopped raising rates by December of 2018, the Dow had found a bottom and it started recovering out of here while they were pausing rates. So when the Fed raises rates and when they pause rates, it's not bad for the markets. It's actually pretty good because it gives a breathing room. Liquidity starts flowing back in, but it's when they drastically cut rates in response to something. So for example, right here by the 22nd of July of 2019, they dropped rates and then they held it steady for the next meeting. Then they dropped, they held it steady, then they dropped and they held it steady for a while, and they didn't start cutting rates rapidly until after this crash took place. From February of 2020 until March of 2020, they responded by cutting rates down to 0 by the 23rd of March. So they were a little bit late on cutting rates after the markets had already bottomed out. But nonetheless, when they started cutting rates on July of 2019, the Dow only rallied up another 7% before we saw this COVID crash of over 38% really quickly. And obviously that affected crypto as well too. So if we go back before this, the last time that they cut rates, nobody knew about Bitcoin. The last time that they cut rates, Bitcoin wasn't even around. So we don't have that much data to understand exactly what's going to happen during rate cuts, but we can get somewhat of an idea based on what happened to the stock market and then the correlation to Bitcoin, the crypto market, and all altcoins that we'll discuss in a little bit. So pay close attention. You guys are going to absolutely love this. If we look right here, the Fed was raising rates from June of 2004 up until roughly the 10th of July of 2006. Now, as they were raising rates, the Dow didn't really do too much. It was chopping sideways, but ultimately it was in a trending market, trending up because we were forming higher lows, as you can see right here, and we were forming higher highs, as you can see right here. And it wasn't until they paused rates on the 10th of June of 2006 and they held the line up until about July of 2007 for a year that the Dow rallied all the way from 10,600 upwards of nearly 14,000, up 31%. And when they started cutting rates, they didn't just drastically cut it down to 0. It was a long period of time to get down to nothing. It took about 2 years. The first rate cut caused a little shock in the market. The Dow dropped down to 12,500. Then it saw a bounce up to the high of October of 2007. And that was the peak for that year before the crash really started, because at that point, everyone knew that the rates aren't going to go back up. They're going to keep coming down. And so it was just a slow bleed out from that point. And you had some time to get out of the markets. You had like 77 days to catch yourself from losing your entire portfolio. You even had upwards of 230 days right here for this complacency stage dead cat bounce right here. So crashes don't really happen overnight unless it's like a COVID situation. So we have to be aware of that. But the 2007 to 2009 crash took about 2 years. The problem arises if you wait until the Federal Reserve responds to try and stimulate the economy by dropping rates back down to 0. And so what we're going to monitor over the next few months going into election is what Jerome Powell's stance is in these FOMC meetings. So if they do one rate cut in September, we could see a little shock in the market, but I also want to bring up what happened every single time we went from orange to yellow, what the Bitcoin stock to flow indicator, and what happened every single time, 100% of the time for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Then we'll jump into the Bitcoin price chart, then the XRP price chart, and then the entire altcoin market. So if we just zoom out on the weekly chart and we look at the macro view back from 2009, you guys can see this color code here from orange to yellow to green to light blue, dark blue, purple. Orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, purple. And no, this isn't some pride flag on the chart here like the weird crap that happened at the Olympics. This is one of the most important indicators that will make you a lot of money this bull run if you understand it. And it also can lose you a lot of money where you can get absolutely wrecked, like people that lost all their money in 2000 or 2008 to 2009. So don't skip this video because we're going to explain it in detail. So as you can see right here, back in July of 2009, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was recovering out of the low and Bitcoin was going on a bull run as well too. And so George Bush started stimulating the economy after 2008, 2009, and that's where QE, quantitative easing, pretty much destroyed the country. So the United States of America was done at this point. This was just the tip of the iceberg starting to flip over in the destruction of the dollar. So they were purposefully and intentionally printing as much money as humanly possible to pad their own pockets, because all of the insiders that own these big tech companies and politicians understood what was going to happen in the stock market. You see like Nancy Pelosi and then Jim Cramer and all these other people making a lot of money in the stock market from 2009 and beyond. And so as you can see from orange to yellow, when we broke out for the Dow, we went on this massive bull run. Now, sure, there was some choppiness on the way up. That's completely normal. But one thing we need to look at is what happened every single time we went from orange to yellow because of where we're at right now on the Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart compared to the crypto total market cap excluding Bitcoin, because we're about to go from orange to yellow here again soon. And so hang with me for a second because you're going to love this. As you can see right here, when we went from orange to yellow in March of 2013 to April of 2013, we broke out and we went on another massive bull run before we saw this major correction from dark blue to purple. And so the Dow rallied all the way up here of 18,000. And then during dark blue saw a crash of about 16% to the downside. Now compare this to the previous crash in dark blue, the Dow Jones dropped about 18%. So we're starting to see a pattern here from orange to yellow. The Dow has broken out both times. And then during dark blue around purple, we usually see a crash. And if we look on January of 2017 from orange to yellow, we saw a breakout and we saw this massive bull run for the Dow. We're starting to see some confluence here. Right when we turned to dark blue, we then saw another crash, of about 19% to the downside. So let's come all the way over here too and let's see what happened when we went from orange to yellow in November of 2020. Sure enough, we started to break out. We go on this massive bull run. Now this time was a little bit different because the crash actually happened when we went from light green to light blue and the Dow dropped over 22%. But we did see a recovery from light blue to dark blue and then another big crash. And then we chopped sideways for a period of time all through 2022 during that bear market. So where are we right now? What's the most likely scenario to happen next to be prepared for? Well, we are about to go from orange to yellow, and every single time, 100% of the time, since 2009 that this has happened, we've seen a breakout for the Dow Jones Industrial Average. So what I've done is I've traced up the charts for you guys, all 4 times that we went from orange to yellow, and I'm going to put it right here to show you guys what's the most likely scenario to happen next based on these. So I don't know exactly how high the Dow will go, and I don't know if it will break out. Maybe we see some fluke happen in the markets. But if we're 4 for 4 right now, the chance of us being 5 for 5 are pretty good odds that I'll take any day of the week. Now, you guys obviously understand investing is very risky. I'm not a financial advisor, so you could lose money in these markets, but let's just put the charts up for fun and example purposes only to look at this. So if we go from orange to yellow, when that happens, if we were to look at the first breakout, it would look something like this. You know, we might breach all the way up here, do some sort of back test of the previous range high as support, and then continue the rally until light blue to dark blue before we see some type of correction, maybe by 2026. The break to the upside in 2013 when we went from orange to yellow was a little bit more mild. It wasn't as parabolic, but it was a breakout nonetheless, and it took some time to keep rallying up. And so nonetheless, it looks like this. The breakout of 2017 was a lot more parabolic. And so obviously when we go up this quick, we come down this quick, and that's why we saw the aftermath of the pandemic for 2020. And so this would fall in line with the bear market when we go from yellow to green to light blue to dark blue, where we see some crash happening. So this is where a lot of people are predicting some sort of Great Depression style crash, because the most recent rally up in 2021 and the 2022 bear market would look something like this. Now, if we were to exaggerate this to understand what this could look like with the effective federal funds rate, and so if by September they start dropping the rates a little bit, hold the line, drop it again, hold the line, drop it again, hold the line, drop it again, hold the line, and then the markets top out, then I would expect them to drastically start cutting with the markets all the way down to the bear market bottom in 2026. And for the effective federal funds rate to look something like this with a market crash that happens around the same time, because that's what we've seen the past 2 times, one of which crypto was around during that time for 2020. The other time was right before Bitcoin came out of the market from 2007 to 2009. Coincidentally enough, Bitcoin was created around that same time when they kept rates low for a long period of time. The markets were recovering. That money being injected into the economy from George Bush and quantitative easing, that started to go into Bitcoin. But the time before then in the Dow when they dropped rates drastically was during the dot-com bubble crash. And so I'm just expecting something similar to happen for the effective federal funds rate, for them to start dropping it and then the economy to implode over time because it's overdue. And that's what would lead to the next massive crash in the stock market and also the crypto market. But we're still early right now and there's still an opportunity to make money. So I'm not going to scare you out of the markets just yet. You guys are going to start to see some warning videos coming from me maybe towards the end of 2025. Hey, if the markets top out sooner, depending on how parabolic we go, just like what happened in 2017 for the stock market, the crypto market went so parabolic. And when we go up fast, we can also come down very fast. So it's healthier to have a long drawn out bull market because then the crashes aren't so steep, because the longer the base, the higher in space. And that's why we're seeing these crazy price predictions from Michael Saylor that seem crazy, but they're not really that crazy if we zoom out over the course of several decades with the inevitable collapse of the US dollar. So that's why if we look at the chart right here for Bitcoin compared back to 2020, compared back to 2016, compared back to 2012, very similar, where we see an attempt at the all-time high and a failed breakout followed by a range-bound boring sideways trading action, then ultimately a very profitable bull run. Same for 2016, a failed breakout with this red X consolidation period, then ultimately a successful bull run. Same thing for 2012, a failed breakout, consolidation, build the base for the rocket ship to absolutely blast off. So 2024, we're seeing the same thing happen right now. So we're right along schedule. Now, what's the most likely case scenario and how long do we have to wait for a breakout to happen? Well, as you can see right here, if I were to measure from the high of 11th of March 2024, when we shifted from purple to orange, and also go back to May of 2020 when we shifted from purple to orange, it took roughly 196 days before we turned to yellow, and Bitcoin really started to break out on the 16th of November at the final stage before orange to yellow. So that was about 196 days. If we measure from the high of March of 2024 to where we are today, we're roughly at 140 days. So if I were to measure out 196 days, obviously it's not going to be exact, but that would be roughly the 23rd of September of 2024. So that's following in line, leading right up to election. It's kind of spooky timing. It's pretty trippy. But as you guys can see on the right-hand side of the screen, when we turn from orange to yellow, we consolidated for a bit, around $200 billion for the crypto total market cap, excluding Bitcoin. So this is total too. And then we blasted off from there. Whereas Bitcoin started to move about 161 days in. So Bitcoin started to move first from $11,000. And then by 196 days in, it was at $18,000. So as Bitcoin moved first, the altcoins were lagging behind a bit. Case in point is the XRP, the US dollar price chart compared to Bitcoin. From the period of the 19th of October 2020 until 16th of November 2020, when Bitcoin started breaking out, about 160 days in to the orange color code on the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator, Bitcoin went from $11,000 upwards of $18,000. Well, XRP stayed stuck between 22 cents to 27 cents and didn't start breaking out until Bitcoin saw a correction and a sell-off from $20,000 back down to about $16,000, dropping 18%. So when Bitcoin dropped 18%, XRP went from 26 cents upwards of nearly 80 cents or 200% in a matter of 7 days. That's while Bitcoin was crashing. And then all of a sudden, Bitcoin started to break out again when we turned from yellow and we rallied all the way up here to about 41,000. And at that same time, the lawsuit was filed against Ripple and XRP dropped from 80 cents all the way down to 16 cents during that rally. So money flowed out of XRP, it was pumped back into Bitcoin, and Bitcoin shot all the way up here. Now, one thing that's interesting is during that rally for Bitcoin upwards of $41,000, when Bitcoin crashed down over 14 days and dropped 30% back down to $28,000. Well, what happened to XRP? XRP rallied from 17 cents upwards of 36 cents and recovered over 117%. And then as you can see, XRP and Bitcoin got with the program, they teamed up together, and then liquidity was coming to the market overall because XRP went from 36 cents upwards of nearly $2 and topped out pretty much at the exact same time that Bitcoin did as well too. So they topped out at the same time for that bull run. Whereas the prior bull run from 2016 to 2017, when we went from orange to yellow, XRP was experiencing a sell-off bottoming out while Bitcoin was rallying from like $450 upwards of $1,300. And very similarly enough, when Bitcoin was in yellow and it started this correction of about 30%, that's when XRP found its low and started rocketing on out of here during that correction for Bitcoin. And so by the 27th of March of 2017, XRP was all the way up at 7 cents, whereas Bitcoin dropped from $1,300 to about $800. So there's something to take note here. This happened the past few bull runs where Bitcoin moved first, XRP saw a sell-off, then once Bitcoin saw a correction, that money flowed into XRP and XRP pumped up rapidly. So Bitcoin dropped over 30%, XRP rallied over 1,200%. So theoretically, it actually makes sense to hold Bitcoin for the next leg up and then rotate that into XRP. But then again, anything's possible. So as always, the old saying goes, time in the markets always beats trying to time the markets for entry points and exit points. Because if you just hold long term, then you're not going to shoot yourself in the foot if you miss any of these pullback periods or if XRP goes first this bull run. We just don't know. Because just like the 2021 bull run, that 2017 bull run, eventually XRP and Bitcoin got with the picture. They started rallying together. Bitcoin went from $1,000 upwards of $2,000, and XRP went from like 0.02 cents upwards of 40 cents. And then from yellow to green, XRP consolidated sideways while Bitcoin marched up even higher. And then at light green, Bitcoin found a high and XRP found a high upwards of $3. And then once we turned to light blue, XRP started the bear market. Same thing for Bitcoin. Bitcoin was in a bear market from light blue to dark blue. Now, if we look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, when we go from light blue to dark blue, you can see there's been massive sell-offs every single time. And so once we get there, which we're not even anywhere close to that right now, we're still at orange, about to turn yellow. Then from yellow, we have to go to light green. And then from light green, we have to go to light blue. So you guys can see light blue is when you're going to start seeing the warning, get out now emergency, like watch out or you're going to be homeless working at McDonald's type videos. So until then, data is showing us that we're gearing up for a massive breakout for Bitcoin going from orange to light yellow. And the facts are showing us that Bitcoin's dominance usually drops from yellow to light green, and that causes a surge in the altcoin market and XRP as well too. So when we look at the Bitcoin market cap dominance right here, back from the 16th of November of 2020, when Bitcoin was ultimately rallying up while XRP was seeing a suppression, we went from orange to yellow and Bitcoin's dominance made one final push upwards of 73%, whereas XRP was suppressed right when we turned to yellow. So there was a quick pump from orange to yellow for XRP, and then during the first stage of yellow, XRP saw a sell-off by December of 2020. Somewhat similar to what happened from September of 2016. In orange, we saw a rally up for XRP, and then we saw a sell-off during the first phase of yellow, and then we started blasting on out of there. So during that sell-off during the first phase of yellow, when Bitcoin's dominance tops out, XRP bottoms out, and it finds a low, then Bitcoin's dominance dropping on the top of the screen that you see right here from 70% all the way down to about 30% from yellow to light green to light blue doesn't mean that Bitcoin does bad. It just means a lot of liquidity starts flowing into altcoins, and the altcoin market outperforms Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's already got its gains, and so everyone starts looking for better opportunities to create generational wealth because they just won't get that in Bitcoin. Because once Bitcoin hits, $120,000 or $150,000, people don't expect that much more out of it. Maybe a 1x, maybe a 2x at max. And so that's where they start rotating out of Bitcoin into other projects. So where are we right now? Well, right now, Bitcoin's dominance is about 56%. XRP is sitting at 60 cents. And so we're seeing a rally during this orange stage right here for XRP from 37 cents to 60 cents. But if it goes anything like the past few bull runs for XRP, during the first stage of yellow, what we've seen is we've seen a sell-off. Now, I know this isn't what you want to hear, but hang with me for a second. Because if we look at Bitcoin's market cap dominance, once we go from orange to yellow, in this bullish channel right here, Bitcoin could top out at this ascending resistance. And then when Bitcoin's dominance tops out, which would fall in line with Bitcoin rallying up past the all-time high, breaking $100,000, $120,000, etc., all eyes are going to be on Bitcoin. So this is what I want you to focus on right here. If all eyes are on Bitcoin, where the most amount of money is going to be made is with a project like XRP. Because if we see XRP sell off in the first stage of yellow, and this is a big if, I'm just looking at confluence here on what I've seen on the charts, then I personally am going to be rotating a lot of money into XRP because we've seen this happen before. This isn't our first rodeo here, guys. Because when Bitcoin's dominance peaks out and it starts to drop, that leads to massive money rotating from Bitcoin into XRP. And then there's going to be short-term temporary periods where Bitcoin is going to flex its muscle and show that it's still got some juice left in it. We'll see the dominance bounce up at some point, and then we'll see the altcoin market go through some consolidation correction period at that time. Just like what happened the past few bull runs, XRP will cool off a little bit like it did between 30 and 40 cents during that 2017 rally. But where the real fun comes in, and this is why I think by the end of 2025, this is going to be the most parabolic move for XRP when we go from yellow to light green, because the SEC case versus Ripple is going to be over. So there's going to be no price suppression. Guys, remember, during the last bull run, XRP did over a 10x while Ripple was still going through the lawsuit. So they were suppressed. Imagine what's going to happen when this lawsuit is over and Ripple has their stablecoin out there. And Bitcoin's dominance is dropping. Altcoins are going parabolic. I think that will be the biggest move for XRP. And my price prediction for XRP, which I could be 100% wrong about, but I'm expecting anywhere between $5 and $30. Now, I know that's a big gap because on the conservative side, $5, but on the bullish side, $30. I think where people are going to get absolutely wrecked is by the time that XRP is really breaking out past the all-time high. Everyone's going to start saying stuff like the flip of the switch moment is coming, it's happening. And sure, that could happen, right? It could happen. I'm not going to deny that. But we like to create a practical strategy here so you don't get absolutely wrecked and have to round trip your bags holding all the way to the bottom of some crazy 1929 style crash if the Federal Reserve starts drastically cutting interest rates in response to an economic collapse. Because just like the past few bull markets, there always comes a bear market. So I think there will be a bear market for XRP. And then we'll see the cycle start all the way again leading into 2030. Now, the main catalysts that are setting XRP up for a massive bull run is one of which being this right here, the CME Group. XRP is officially now listed on the CME Group, which is the world's leading derivatives marketplace. So the company's exchanges includes the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So the CME Fed Watch group is what we use to track the expected Fed funds rate for each meeting. Also the Chicago Board of Trade, New York Mercantile Exchange, and the Commodity Exchange. The CME Group's products and services help individuals and institutions improve their trading strategies and manage risks across major asset classes, including interest rates, equity indexes, foreign exchange, energy, agricultural products, metals, futures, options, and cash and OTC markets, which is huge. And just to understand how big this is, the derivatives market is a financial instrument that can be worth over 1 quadrillion in notional value. But some analysts are saying this estimate is exaggerated. However, the notional value of the derivatives contracts underlying assets may not represent the actual market value. For example, as of 2021, the notional value of derivatives was $600 trillion, while the actual net value was about $12.4 trillion. So that's still a lot of money because Ripple is gearing up for XRP to bridge cross-border liquidity. So that's tens of trillions or potentially hundreds of trillions of dollars. So we just got to be ready for that because all signs are leading up for a massive breakout for XRP from yellow to green on the Bitcoin stock to flow rainbow indicator. And this news just came out with Kamala Harris's campaign confirming that the vice president's team has met with Ripple, Coinbase, and Circle. Similar to this Goldman Sachs presentation from 2021, Ripple, Coinbase, and Circle stand alone, where Coinbase has 8,000 plus merchants accepting cryptocurrencies, and even more today because this is an old picture. So for the people that are bearish out there right now, I just don't understand it. Because global liquidity is going up, the Republicans are pro-crypto, now Democrats are starting to catch on that Donald Trump wants to fire Gary Gensler and it's making their whole party look bad, so they're going to have to be pro-crypto. Everybody knows that the spending power of the dollar is going down in value and it's inevitably going to go to zero. That's just what Charlie Munger said, who's a billionaire, so we might want to listen to the guy. He knows what he's talking about. And Ripple has positioned XRP to be the main bridge currency to handle that cross-border liquidity of trillions of dollars. And so when we see XRP's price glitching on these exchanges, it hit $2 on MEXC platform and got rejected. So something's brewing because I've seen these glitches happen over and over and over again. Now, obviously, they're just glitches. It doesn't confirm anything. But this has led people to talk about theories of the public ledger versus the private ledger. And they're waiting for this lawsuit to come to a conclusion before they match up. And that's the flip of the switch moment that everyone's talking about. But I just want to share facts with you guys like I've done throughout this entire video. So if you appreciate the facts and you want to see more videos like this, make sure you like, you comment, and you subscribe. And also, if you want to discover how to earn more crypto in less than 10 minutes per day with the #1 play to earn XRP game, you can go to bullrunners.com. The link will be in the description below. In fact, do that right now. Click the button on the page, put in your best email address. It's free to subscribe. You get instant access to our daily video newsletter where you're going to receive breaking news updates like this. Also on the other side, you're going to be able to watch this video in less than 10 minutes and learn how you can start earning massive crypto rewards. And we have more videos coming out on this, showing you guys how to get started, the best XRP wallet, how to play the XRP game, and also a video dropping soon about the #1 liquidity pool on XRP that is going to absolutely blow your mind. So as always, we're backing up our truck all the way to the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind because we believe the spending power of the dollar is going to keep going down in value. That's a fact based on inflation. blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, and cryptocurrencies have been going up in value over the past decade. That's the truth. And together, you know where we're going. We're going camping on the beaches of the moon. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'll see you on bullrunners.com. Click the links below right now. And as always, you know what to do. Stay bullish.